do finger guns.
None? I feel like I need to incorporate that now.
No, we can't do it because that's like the dorky. Hello. Hello, friends, and welcome to Innovate Her KC Live. We are here today, and if you have joined us in the past, you will see or you will hear that we've switched things up a little bit. I decided, executive decision, that she had no voice in whatsoever, that we were going to put Cynthia in the hot seat because I was tired of doing it, and I want to be the voice of God, and I want to have the velvety smooth radio presence while she gets to be on camera. So I'm just going to go.
Seat. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I feel like I just need to rotate it at some point during this live.
No, that's not going. Like, there is no way for you to be sneaky about that, so that will not be
I
happening.
but sneezing fit. That's what it is.
Well, I have to tell you, I am very selfishly excited to be talking to you right now because I love you. You're amazing and wonderful. Also because I'm not in the hot seat, but also because you, my friend, you serve Innovate Her KC. Would you like to tell us a little bit about how you do that?
Yeah. So I am the director of programming for Innovate Her KC. It looks like we have a comment.
Ooh, wait. Now, actually, I have to remember my StreamYard. Lene Clayton Robinson says, "Hey, ladies." She did like the exaggerated why.
I love it. Hey, Lene.
Hey, Lene. I got to see Lanisha earlier this morning.
What she said.
You can do this, Cynthia. I believe in you, and I'm cheering from the back of the room. You know what? I know so many people who cheer for you, Cynthia, because you are just a fabulous human being. But I love how you just derailed your own information. You derailed yourself. Tell us how you serve IHKC.
So I serve IHKC as the current director of programming, which means I'm responsible for collecting data and looking at all things programming related. So how we can best serve the members of IHKC.
That's right.
It's a lovely and fun job.
Oh my gosh. Well, she says she's the current quote unquote, as though we've had one before and we'll have them. No, like, you're sticking as long as you can. You are the only, the shining star of our programming. But Cynthia and I have a fabulous time thinking about, talking about, working for and working toward the service of our members.
Yeah, so, and finding creative ways that we can serve.
That we can serve.
Is that Jessica? Did Jessica just happen?
You keep it. Stop. You have to take off.
Hi, Jessica.
Take off your little organization hat, because what we're doing now is Lauren is running this show. I will tell you about the comments when you need to know about the comments. Just relax, float free. Tell us about it. Hi, Jessica. Jessica, super looking forward to seeing you, and I believe probably, most likely Cynthia at Innovator Night with Casey Current, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So Cynthia.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to cue it up how you cue it up for me, because you're just mean. And now I have my opportunity to be mean. And I'm going to ask you some crazy questions, because that's what you love to do for me. And
to know people.
Well, and so last time we talked about, would you rather have a Swiss Army knife or fairy dust, or like, I can't even remember like all of the stuff we talked about, but we did talk about what kind of dinosaur you would be. So I won't ask that question again, but I'm going to ask some questions along the same vein. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, what's your favorite article of clothing that you own?
Oh, favorite article of clothing.
Yeah.
This may sound weird.
Probably not, but go ahead.
It's coming from me, so it's highly likely that it's going to sound weird. Socks. I love socks, especially
like fuzzy socks.
Like just socks of Like yesterday, I had on shorts and what I would call old man dress socks. They were black and they were like crew length.
Okay. But what constitutes a good sock? Like the weight, the feel, the amount of cushion. Yes.
How soft it is. Did it just come out of the dryer? Is it warm on my foot?
Okay.
There's something cozy about socks.
I can dig it. I can dig it. I don't know if you're aware of this. When you next time you come over, I'll have to show you. But I am a fuzzy sock aficionado. I don't wear them now because it's too hot.
Like
but,
cabin socks?
What's that?
Like cabin socks?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, just like really like fuzzy, thick, plushy ones. And yeah, they're not good for summer weather, but in winter, I love nothing more than a pair of fuzzy socks.
Just around the
curl
house.
up in a book in front of the fireplace, mug of hot cocoa, and it's just a big old hug, whole full body hug.
Yeah, it's socks.
It's socks.
I was trying to rethink it and say maybe it was something else, but it has.
Nope. I am down for it to be socks. Yeah. Socks are vitally important. Okay, well, I love that, and I feel like socks is a very fitting answer for you because you're a very comforting kind of person. Okay. So that makes sense.
So we'll go with that.
All right. So I was I was actually going to ask you where do you get your barbecue here in Kansas City, but then I realized that I didn't want to start a riot, so I'm not going to be asking that question.
You could. I'd answer it.
Do you have a favorite KC barbecue?
Absolutely,
choice?
It's Gates.
It's Gates.
It's
okay,
yeah.
All right. And what do you love about Gates?
It's the combination of the sauce and the way they smoke the meat.
Okay. See, I actually live super close to the original Gates location, and I love walking in there and just be like, "Hey!" Like having people yell. It's awesome. So Gates is fabulous. Some people refuse to answer that question. Like I've asked that question before, and they refuse to answer it because it's so polarizing.
Yeah. I understand.
But okay.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Sticking by it.
Well, and so the follow-up, or I guess the question that I was going to ask, but I didn't want to put you that much on the spot. You asked for it. But all right, the question that I was going to ask is, what's your favorite KC restaurant? Do you have a favorite? Or it doesn't even have to be favorite, just a place that you love to go.
I used to have a favorite.
Okay.
That was located in Crown Center, and then they closed, and then they reopened, and they were out on like 63rd Street, and then they closed again because the pandemic got them. But there's a Japanese steakhouse called Kabuki.
Okay,
that was my
I think
favorite.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
So they were in Crown Center for a long time.
But what about current favorite?
I don't know that I have found anybody that can replace.
No.
And there are so many fantastic restaurants.
Not even Snooze.
Snooze is good.
Y'all, I know that Snooze isn't local. Please don't hate me. But Cynthia and I, when we went to Snooze, we were doing one of these actually. We went to Snooze because it's close by. And our server gifted us with a pineapple upside down
it was huge. It was like
pancake.
Yeah.
Just because she felt like it. Like the server came over and was like, it was a different server. And she was like, your server just wanted you to have this. And we were just like, really? That's amazing. Thank you so much.
I think there's a picture of that.
Yeah, we do have a picture of those. And you're kind of giving them like a little bit of a happy side eye.
Yeah.
Sorry, I fell down on the job because Cynthia wasn't reminding me. But Jessica Delby says, same fuzzy socks in the winter.
Yes.
Fuzzy socks. Back to socks. Okay. All right. So Snooze will always have a warm place in my heart. And it's largely because of you. And because we had such a good time.
Down pancake was delicious.
For sure. Oh, so good. Okay. Well, so I'm gonna ask you, and I really want to know the answer to this question. I really wish that I could get every single IHKC leadership team member button this seat in front of the camera so that I could ask this question.
It's coming, y'all.
It's coming. I want to ask you, why is it important to you? Because I'll tell you what, folks. I'm gonna tell you that our IHKC leadership team is populated by some really, really incredible individuals, people that I love working with and love talking to. And most of us started off as friends before we started working together. And then now I'm working with them and I'm like, y'all are amazing. And so I love our leadership team. But I want to ask you, why is it important to you to volunteer so willingly of your time and your attention and your expertise? Why do you do that for IHKC?
It's the mission of IHKC. And we are helping to serve so many women in the metro area and to make sure that whatever aligns with their core values, they have the opportunity to tap into here in the metro and even, sometimes nationally as well.
Oh my gosh.
And that's part of my core.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, and it's what you do, and actually, kind of segues nicely into my next question. But what do you do? Well, I'm going to let you say it instead of me saying it, but tell us about your day job.
Oh, so yeah, during the day, well, you want the day, night, and then?
I mean, you do like 20 different things. And so I'm going to allow you the freedom and latitude to answer that question however you interpret it.
Okay. So I am the founder of Launchpad Publishing, which is a publishing company that was created to help make sure that creatives are being fairly compensated for their work.
That's right.
Because the publishing industry, much like the music industry, is not tipped in favor of creatives on the profit side. And so my goal, my hope is to flip that in the publishing industry, one book at a time, one author at a time, so that we can make sure that people are being fairly compensated for the work that they're putting out into the world.
And you have a focus on marginalized creatives. Absolutely. Correct. Mm-hmm. Well, so I mentioned that because, clearly this is just such a huge part of your heart, because it's a big part of what Ihkc does. We support marginalized leaders. And so I love the fact that you have found a way to really just live in your purpose all day, no matter what you're doing. That's kind of the lens through which you view things.
It is. Yeah. I think my entire life has been like that.
Yeah. Well, I love that about you, and I respect that about you, and I am so glad that you're getting to share that. Lene Clayton Robinson comes in and says, "Launch Crate is awesome," which is true. Jessica Delby says, "Amen." She actually does. She has a podcast as well, but does some work in that arena. One of the things that I love about Ihkc is how it tends to attract human beings who like attracts but it attracts human beings who they care about things like inclusion and equity.
They care about humans being human.
Yes, and being allowed to be their truest, best selves.
Absolutely.
So I love that. You actually not too long ago, you were the recipient of an Ihkc honor.
I was.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm still shocked by this.
Oh, hush.
Because of all of the amazing entrepreneurs that are in the Innovator community. Yeah. But I was last year's Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yeah, you were. Well, and I am not at all shocked by that. What was interesting with you though is I think you also were nominated for Creative of the Year. Yeah. And you fall very neatly into both of those categories. And so the fact that you got Entrepreneur of the Year, Deanna Munoz of the Latino Arts Foundation, she was our Creative of the Year. But I just remember being like, entrepreneur, that's the way that we went with Cynthia. I mean, you are equally astounding in both areas. But I was just like, yeah, you could definitely satisfy both of those things.
But that's one of the other hats that I wear.
Yeah.
The creative hat.
That's right. You're a creative, author, you're a prolific author.
Illustrator.
One of the coolest things, and I have read your books. I own a bunch of your books. Whenever we have happy hours and coffees that Cynthia shows up to, I actually have a sugar plum, what's the first one? The sugar plum. Yeah, spoonful of sugar plums. There you go. I have it just sitting on my desk, so I can just be like, "Ooh, look at this! You should buy it." But one of the coolest things that I think you've done. I'd actually love for you to tell us a little bit about the book you wrote about your grandfather.
Oh yeah, I wish I had it with me. So
I know I kind of do too. I did not think this through.
Yeah, that is my favorite out of all the books, and I think I'm up to 13 books now. And working on 2 books in the moment. Yeah. Yeah. But that book is my favorite because it helps his legacy continue to live on. Right. So I sat down with my grandfather and just asked him to tell me all of the stories of his life so that I could share it with my other cousins who weren't in the Kansas City area, because there's 11 of us. Yeah. He had 11 grandchildren and only 3 of us at the time were in Kansas City. And I was like, they're missing all of these stories. How can I make sure that they get them? And I was like, well, let me just turn them into a book for grandpa.
Capture them, get them down on paper.
Yeah. So I just took one of those little cheap Sony recorders and sat it down to help me with the transcription later. Yeah. And as I was transcribing it, what I realized was there's so much more richness in the storytelling as it's coming from my grandfather's mouth than just receiving and reading the story itself. Right. And I was like, how can I find a way so that they can hear him tell his story, because that's where all of the value is, right?
Right.
And so I took QR codes and embedded them into the book. And so now when you scan the QR code, you are transported to the couch that was in my grandfather's living room, and you get to live through these storytelling experiences with him. It's awesome.
Well, and I love that part of the story. Like, I know y'all can't see me right now, but I just have a big old shit-eating grin on my face. Lene Clayton Robinson has actually shared a link, to Treasured Stories from the Life of James M. Robinson.
Yeah.
And you definitely pick it up from Bliss, man. Bliss is an innovator-owned bookstore. Just got some good news about a liquor license. They're getting ready to open up their brick and mortar. So definitely support Bliss Books and Wine.
We're partnering with them too, coming up in August.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
We'll be celebrating 5 years with Launch Crate.
Oh my gosh.
And inviting all of the Launch Crate authors who are publishing with us.
I cannot wait.
Books.
I gotta tell you,
lots of good stories out there.
So many good things happening right now.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a good summer.
That's the power of innovators.
Yeah.
Look at this connections happening.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you were actually we were talking earlier today about how you're working with another innovator to illustrate her book. And it was just, it's always, I mean, you're more than welcome to talk about it if you want to, you don't have to, but I just love hearing about those connections. And I mean, again, that's just kind of what innovator is all about. How do we connect women who might not have otherwise met? How do we strengthen those relationships so that we can amplify each other's work, so that we can help each other out, support each other? And I see that manifest in you. So when you say that you were surprised that you won an innovator award, I'm like, nah, it was a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. That is all right. That's too funny. So Linnea says, always have you back, boo. And I have to say the same. I mean, everybody who's on, actually, you know what, friends, if you are watching right now, do us a favor, shout it out in the comments, let us know. But I'm going to speak for everybody when I say that anybody in the comments who's watching this right now, we got your back. And I just know that. I know that because I know the kind of community that we have built, and I know the kind of love and support that you, Cynthia Fails, inspire. Oh, wow. Okay. So Jessica Delby said, I love this. Max Sheffield Baird said, innovator has been the community I always needed, changed my life professionally and personally. That is very sweet. And I do have to tell you that I imagine Max is a little biased because they are a very good friend of mine, but I will take it. So let me ask you this, my friend. I would like to know, we talked a little bit about why you're involved with Innovator, Casey. Now let's talk about the how, and let's talk about the what. You're on programs, and you mentioned something that is very important. We've had multiple conversations about this. You talked about data. So let's talk about data. Why is that so important to you and so crucial to the work that we're doing together?
A few reasons, right? The data helps us to make sure that what we are providing is of value.
Yeah.
And then it also, on the backside, helps to make sure that we can receive funding from grants that will help us to continue to sustain programming, right?
Yeah.
So data helps keep the wheels moving.
Yeah. Sarah, I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. Well, Cynthia knows this. We've talked about it, but in our early years, and even as recently as like last year. So I love data, and Cynthia's absolutely right. Like, we have to use data to inform the actions that we take. Data helps us make better decisions. And so one of our kind of cornerstone foundational ethics, actually, I'm going to test Cynthia here. I'm going to say that we have 5 foundational ethics, but there are really only 2 that I pay a lot of attention to. The other 3 are fine. But what are the 2 foundational ethics?
Don't test me.
Well, so all right. I'm not going to test her. I'm not going to put her on the spot because she's never done that to me.
No.
So I'm going to tell you that the 2 foundational ethics that I care most about, and the lens through which our leadership team and I view, that this is the lens that we make every decision through, are inclusion and low barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
And if the decisions that we're making are not in support of both of those things, we don't do them. And that's a pretty hard and fast rule for me. I know it's a pretty hard and fast rule for Cynthia.
Absolutely.
And so something that I periodically have to do to make sure that we're living our mission is I have to pull what is called a statistically significant sample. And basically what I do is I randomly select a certain X amount of innovator members, and I go through profiles and I pull that information and I try to see, all right, do we have good representation? Are we serving individuals who are intersectional? Are we serving individuals who might not identify as women? Are we serving individuals who, come from diverse backgrounds? And it's really difficult work to do when you don't have a lot of information just kind of right in front of you. And I say all of that to say this. I do a shit job. I do the best I can. But Cynthia has an amazing brain for this kind of stuff. And it has actually been one of my great joys and hopes to talk to her about this data thing and figure out how we can, because really for us, it all boils down to, if we say we believe this, are we doing the things that match that belief?
Absolutely.
Does our action match our words?
And are we being intentional about making sure that they align? Yeah.
So we Cynthia and I have a lot of conversations about that. Now the other piece of programs is, what are the things that we do to serve our members? And I would love to hear your thoughts on innovator programs. And that is a very broad-based question. And I am aware that it is a very broad-based question, but you are a brilliant individual and I just want to see how you answer it.
So I love connecting with individuals through the coffees and the happy hours.
Yeah.
Those are the place where I see the most organic connections taking place. And there's so much value, even just like monitoring the comments during that. There's so much value that other people are sharing in the comments and that they're receiving that they share in the comments, right? And I think my mind, as I'm seeing that reflected in the comments, is how can we capture this in a way that's easy for the members, so it doesn't take like 10, 15, 20 minutes for them to then go in and complete the survey, right? I want to make sure that it's user-friendly for them, but that we're still capturing this information. So I've seen that in those types of connections, the programming that we have coming up, the Girls Guide to Business.
I'm so excited for
this. Those are I don't want to call them money makers because they're not actually money makers, but
low barrier to entry.
Right. They're the heart of the programming that we do, right? Because they give us the opportunity to serve the members. Yeah. And that's what we're all about. And that's what I love about Ihkc.
Yeah, you mentioned Girls Guide to Business. Yeah. It's so interesting to me because people are like, how do you decide what topics? And I'm like, well, first of all, like we ask our members, periodically. Shay Geist recently had to step down as Impact Events Manager, but she did a really fantastic job. She's so good.
Yeah.
But putting out polls and reaching out to members and saying, hey, what do you want to learn? But then the other thing that is really interesting about Innovate Her is because we have this kind of dynamic, there you go, dynamic virtual community, we have this really unique listening device in that, we all kind of watch the comments and the posts pretty carefully and like you start to see trends emerge. And so when we're trying to come up with like topics for professional development, that's usually where I pull them from. I'm just like, hey, we've been seeing a lot of questions about marketing lately, like SEO and videography and all of that stuff. Why don't we do one on marketing?
Right.
And so it's really interesting how closely we are able to, I don't want to say monitor because that sounds very like official, but like, kind of keep an eye on what people are needing and what people are wanting. Now, we do have an event coming up, and folks, I'm going to tell you right now, we don't have a date for it set explicitly just yet. We think we might, but I don't want to announce it because I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but we have something coming up
We do.
that I'm very excited about, but I'm going to let Cynthia tell you about it.
Yeah, so there is one of the things that we have seen are a variety of posts from people who have published their work and people who are interested in publishing their work.
Yeah.
And as a result of that type of feedback, we have created a panel that taps into the heart of publishing and the importance of sharing your stories. So keep an eye out for that, because that is coming. We'll talk about traditional publishing, we'll talk about self-publishing, and everything along the
the different avenues that you can take. And I have to tell you, like, I have a couple of books that I'd like to write. So I'm very excited. We're very fortunate to have some really incredible authors as members of Innovate Her. Cynthia is definitely one of those. I do. I seriously, folks, like, if you are watching this right now, head to Bliss Books and Wine. Do a Google. Hold on a second. I'm like trying to see the comment. BlissBooksandWine.com and search for Cynthia Fails, and I believe they have your entire repertoire. But definitely pick up some of Cynthia Fails' books. It's Rain the Brain, Ella Books,
Sugar Plum.
You can't go wrong. It's kind of, and it's kind of like Pringles. Like, you can't eat just one, babe. You can't eat just one once you get started.
Yeah.
But definitely check those out. But yeah, keep your eyes out for our guide to publishing. Path to publishing. I believe we have a beautiful title workshop that Katina Taylor, who's one of our event moderators, she came up with, and I'm just like, I don't know, I can't remember it. But we will be marketing that very soon.
Yes.
What else? What would you like to see? Like, you are a visionary, creative person.
I think so far there's been a lot of the leadership team tapping into the pulse of the members.
Yeah.
But I would love to see, or to find a way for our members to be actively involved in creating the programming, not just creating a survey or answering a survey about what they'd like to see, but comfortable enough to bring their ideas forward and being willing to step up with the planning of that. So
Well, that sounds awesome. I will tell you, I have once again gotten behind in comments. Jessica Dalby, you're speaking right up what I'm doing. Cheryl Hines Clayton, love Miss Cynthia. Lene Clayton Robertson, I'm so excited about the publishing event, as am I. Hey, Bliss, let's talk about ways that we can partner there and market there as well, my friend. Jessica says, sign me up.
Awesome.
But very excited about that event. Very excited to see our members activate. And I think, and I hope that those of you watching have learned by now that our leadership team, above all, we're pretty accessible. You can talk to me, Lauren Conaway. You can talk to Cynthia, our director of programs. Any one member of our leadership team is available to you. If you have ideas, if you have thoughts, if you have things that you'd like to see come to fruition as far as programming, if you have an idea for a t-shirt, I don't even care. Just reach out and let us know. And we will always welcome that feedback,
Definitely
100%. Yeah. So definitely do that. I love that answer, and I just love you, Cynthia. You're just, when I think of like my friend, like my really good friend, just like you're right up there. Like, you're just such a stupendous human being.
Well, thank you.
And so I'm gonna ask you one more question.
Don't make me cry.
No, I'm actually not. I'm gonna take us out on a goofy note.
All right.
But I. All right. Okay. I am going. Actually, I don't even know how goofy it is, but I'm going to ask you if you could be any animal.
They're coming for us here.
I know, I do actually. Okay.
I could be any animal.
If you could be any animal, extinct, live now or not, what would you be? And tell us why. I'm not saying what animal do you like. I'm not saying what animal would you be. I just saw a bird fly by. That's what actually inspired that question. I was
Really?
like, well, there you go.
Probably, I keep, the Rolodex of animals is cycling, but I keep coming back to a fish. I keep seeing a fish. And I think it's because they're just so free.
Okay.
They just kind of go with the
Any
currents.
particular kind of fish? Like, do you want to be a
One
predator fish?
One
or-
that's not attractive to fishermen.
Okay,
Because I don't want to be caught.
sure. What about like those anglerfish things? Don't they have like little lights that
They
hang
do.
over their head? I always
Those
thought they look so creepy to me, but nobody wants to eat them.
But then they get to explore like the unknown. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get like way down into the Mariana Trench.
Yep.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yep. I love
Do you have any questions that you would like to ask me?
Yes.
Holy
I
crap,
do.
I was not expecting that, but go ahead. Thought we were gonna like wash our hands and be
Absolutely
done.
not. What's coming up for Innovator KC?
Yes. What
Now I
a
get to turn the
fabulous
camera.
question. Dang it. What a fabulous question you have asked us, Cynthia. Let me answer that question for you. Oh, wait, I told everybody in the comments that I was wearing my shades because our future is so bright for this thing that I ended up not being on camera. Okay, so we definitely keep an eye out for the publishing events. It will be soon. Probably before the end of June, early July. So definitely keep an eye out for that. We have an innovator coffee tomorrow. It is virtual, and those kick off at 8:30. You can find the link to join on our public Facebook page. Our happy hours and coffees, just so you folks know, you can block them out on your calendar. They are the first Tuesday of every month. And we alternate happy hours and coffees. So tomorrow, June 7th, will be a coffee. Next month, the first Tuesday in July, will be a happy hour. And then we alternate. That's how it goes. So keep an eye out for those. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I have heard, from multiple people that our networking events, they hit different. And I'm assuming that when people tell me that, they mean it in a good way, because they're usually not crying or mad at me. So, we have a lot of fun at the events. We chat, we share our stories. We usually ask each other, like, how can we help you? How can we support you? So definitely join in. But that will kick our June coffee will kick off tomorrow. I keep on wanting to say happy hour. I don't know why. We'll kick it, but it's a coffee tomorrow, starting at 8:30 a.m. They go until about 10 a.m. Definitely keep an eye out for the link. You can find it on our public Facebook page, Ihkc Monthly Meetup. It's coffee time, I believe is what it's called. So that is happening tomorrow. This Saturday, we are actually, now Cynthia, I don't know if you knew that. I think you probably knew this, but did you know that Kansas City will soon be the home of one of the only women's only built for women stadiums for women's soccer in the whole wide world?
It's so awesome.
It is so awesome.
And long overdue.
And it's right on the tails, actually I think the announcement happened before, but the National Soccer League just announced pay equity for women's and men's soccer, which is also very exciting. So we are all about soccer this month at Innovate Her. So we are going to be celebrating with the KC Current. We have Innovator Night with the KC Current. That would be the 11th, which is Saturday. There you go. I got there. It took me a second. But definitely pick up your tickets. Again, you can find that information on our public Facebook page. We have also posted within the group. I do believe that there is a link. I should be the one who knows these things because I'm the one who makes them. But we have a LinkedIn page as well. So if you're on LinkedIn, just give it a search. Innovator Night with KC Current is what it's called. And that will be this Saturday at 7:30. And I will be there. Cynthia will be there. Woo-hoo. Jessica Dalby will be there. I think Adrita Das will be there. And I saw a couple other people. We're going to have some really amazing community leaders come together to celebrate women in soccer and Innovate Her, KC, of course. So that is what we have that's what we have coming down the pipeline in the immediacy. Come July, I want you all to start thinking about the amazing human beings in your life who you just think are totally badass and who do totally kick-ass things, because that's what we're all about. We are going to be launching nominations for the second annual Innovator Awards in
Yeah.
July, toward the end of July. But be thinking about folks that you want to nominate. It's a pretty easy nomination process. You don't have to sell your soul or give us your blood type or anything like that. But just think about amazing human beings like Cynthia or Deanna Munoz or Suzanne Wheeler or any of the other amazing individuals who won last year. Think of those folks in your life that you want to acknowledge and recognize and celebrate. Max Sheffield Baird says, I would go, but I'm speaking, and that is at the Empower Her event. Yes, correct? I have no idea if that's actually what it is, but I'm pretty sure that that's happening at the same time, and that majorly bummed me out when I saw that.
But that's awesome that Max is speaking.
But it is awesome that you are speaking. Very happy, very proud. Sorry, you're right. Like, he was like, wait, don't sound like a total jerk off. And I'm like, very selfishly, I'm bummed out that Max is speaking. However, I'm very happy that Max is speaking because they are an amazing speaker.
Absolutely.
And we like it when Max is able to avail themselves of opportunity. There you go.
Clean that up.
Was that good?
You got it.
Okay. I just had to like check in. All right, folks. This is fun. I really want to turn the camera back on Cynthia, but I actually don't trust myself to be able to turn it without knocking something askew. So we are going to go ahead and end it right here. Max is like, yes. And Lene says, go Max. Good luck with your speaking engagement. And the same from us, from your innovator family, Max. Good luck. And Cynthia is going to come over here. And then we're going to close it out. Wait, are you going to do finger guns?
Yeah.
Every single time. I'm like, did I just do finger guns?
We'll see y'all at the coffee tomorrow morning.
See you tomorrow.